Well, we are back. It is the return of Season 6 Total Divas. We're picking up with Episode 11, The Draft. It's the week we've all been waiting for. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Ooh, we're back. Oh my God, I love this song. Well, let's say hello. Hi, everybody.
Hi, guys.
We're so excited.
I know.
Yes, the dance lights are on. Well, guys, Season 6 is back. We're super excited. We're a little late on the panel tonight. We'll explain. Hello, it's Megan Stecher returning to the Total Divas panel. We do not have one Miss Christy Olsen with us. We would love to explain that to you in a few moments, but let's talk about who I do have with me here. Introduce yourself, my dear.
Hey, guys. You guys know who I am, hopefully. My name's Anissa Barr, and I'm so excited that I'm now joining the panel. This is new now, because I am talking about a little bit of wrestling, but reality TV, so it's different, and I'm excited.
Me too. And you kept being like, oh my God, I never cover reality. This is going to be weird.
I know, right?
Hopefully it's weird in a good way.
It definitely is.
Well, guys, I've got the chat rolling. Hopefully it doesn't freeze up on us, and we'll keep an eye out on your comments. We'll have Bill back with us next week.
Yes.
And
TK.
TK's doing another show this evening. Next week, we hope to have her with us in studio. Trying to mute the laptop. There we go. Technical difficulties. And guys, you can find me on social media at Megan Stecher.
Yes, and you guys could find me on Anissa Barr. That is 3 R's at all social media sites that is available with us today.
There we go. So, guys, we're gonna let's talk about Christy. So exciting!
Yes.
So I'm sure you're realizing that one Miss Christy Olsen, who usually leads this panel, is not here, and we are so excited to say that she has joined WWE. Yeah, so she is stationed in Orlando as a WWE NXT announcer and host. So keep an eye out on all her social media for all her exciting goings-on, and I'm sure you'll start seeing her online.
I know, I'm so excited for her because you know what? She's pretty much like a mentor to me. Yeah.
That's so sweet.
So when I first came in, she opened arms and everything, and she really pretty much like pushed me a lot to be part of everything. So if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't be where I am right now. So, and I text her throughout the whole, weekend, and I just say, I know you're busy, but I'm so excited for you.
Yeah.
And I just told her, I said, you know what? I do want to know, but then I don't want to know because I want to be a fan like everybody else. When you announce your surprise. So she said she'll call me in 2 weeks and tell me all the fun stuff. So I'm so excited. Yes.
So we'll have more deets then.
Yes.
So we should mention her new name is Christy St. Cloud.
Yeah.
With WWE.
There's a cloud running all over NXT.
So that is her new social media handle.
Yes.
How exciting.
I know.
Maybe we'll get to see her on the show somehow.
I hope so. Someday. Maybe season 8 or 9 when they do Total Divas and then she's backstage and be like, I know her. We know her.
Awesome. Let's start breaking down this week's episode. So the season is finally back. I hate when they chop it up into 2 parts for us because I feel like we've been waiting forever. And I know I was chatting with you about how it seems like things are so far behind when they happen in real time. So if you could, do you remember when the draft actually was?
I believe it was around September.
Okay.
I believe because I remember Nikki returned during Survivor Series and this happened maybe about a month or 2 before. It's definitely at the end of the summer. I know that.
Okay.
But wow, time goes by fast, and you think.
Hey everybody,
there
Mark
we
in the
go.
booth.
Hi, Mark. Thank you.
You're welcome. The draft took place on July
Oh, wow.
11th.
Wow, this was forever ago then.
Yes,
Okay.
July 11th was the announcement, and then the July 18th episode of Raw was when it took place.
The draft. Okay. Wow. So we're dialing all the way back to July.
Okay. See, and I can't wait till Bill comes back because he's our wrestling Wikipedia.
Exactly. Bill, we need you. I know. It's like I was saying before we started the show, we used to have like a balance of people who are like reality show people and wrestling people. Right. And now I'm like the only one who's not a wrestling expert.
But that's okay. That's okay.
So I'm here repping the reality people.
And then you could train us.
Okay.
On how to work reality.
Okay. Hopefully I can do that job. All right. So we're kicking off with Brian being named the SmackDown Live GM. So awesome to have him back working on the road since he missed it so badly.
Yes.
And the one thing we didn't get to see was Brie's reaction to maybe that news.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a big part of the storyline last season was, you know, how hard everything was on Brian and how much Brie was trying to help him through that.
Right. And, you know, I think we're going to see a lot of Brie a lot this season, especially because now I want to see what this season like with Brie. How does she feel him being back in the WWE? Because they did talk about before, like, well, I don't know if that, she's thinking, like, well, I don't know if that's a good thing for you right now. I mean, because you can't wrestle, and I don't know about you being around the ring is okay for your mindset. And, you know, Daniel Bryan everyone knows, is probably one of the great wrestlers of all time. So, in my opinion, but, you know, being around a ring and can't say no, it's kind of maybe different for him. So I'm excited to see what Brie has to say with Brian being the GM. Hopefully it's good news.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll get to see that, because it's kind of like it's already in motion now. Like, hopefully we'll get to see Brie saying, like, God, I haven't seen Brian, but man, I talked to him and he's doing so great. He's so happy.
Yeah. Or saying, like, I haven't seen Brian this so happy in so long. You know how she is.
Yes. You know what? He lit up like a Christmas tree in that ring. It was so sweet to see him.
Yes, he's
have
great.
A smile back. So we kind of go through after that the ladies who are worried about not getting picked up in the draft. We already know that Nikki has not been cleared by the WWE to wrestle, so she will not be part of the draft, and we see her disappointment. Eva is nervous that she's not going to be drafted, and then Paige is injured and was told initially last season she wouldn't be part of the draft.
Yeah.
But she now gets her, as we will see later, she gets her MRI results and is essentially picked up. But I wanted to ask you about, did Eva, and you know, is this kind of just drama for the show, or is it true? Like, did Eva really have cause to be nervous that she wouldn't be drafted? like
I think it's part of the show.
Okay, I was going to say, like, is she a part enough of the main roster that it would be silly to say I'm not going to be picked up?
Like, it's total divas. What I see a lot is, like, all story-based. And what you see in past seasons is what they've done in what you see in the ring. A lot of people are like, okay, it's probably part of the storyline. So they're mixing the ring and they're mixing their lifestyle as a WWE superstar to being a reality show. They're mixing that in together as storyline based, even on the show. So personally, I think with the whole Eva thing, I think just what the expressions that you see on her face when she's talking about it, she's like, oh, like, am I gonna get drafted? But I don't see any emotion. I don't see anything that, and I think it was just so storyline based.
Okay.
But hey, she got drafted.
She did. Mark Carrano, actually, the ladies pull him aside and ask him about this draft, which is probably the 100th time we've seen on camera them pull Mark Carrano aside and ask about the draft and being split up.
Yeah.
But for story's sake, they ask him again this week, and he confirms that couples could be split up. So everybody's on edge, very upset. And the funny thing to me is that multiple people said at different points, I could only see you 4 times a year, referring to their significant other. Later on, people explained, like, oh, we'd probably see each other 1 day a week. But what about the 4 times a year? Are there certain extended breaks that they have that they'd be talking about those 4 times a year? Is there, like, a longer break over Christmas, or?
Well, first of all, welcome to the WWE.
Exactly.
You know, so you knew, like, a lot of these women knew what they're gonna expect when you come to this company. You know, I know they have some off days, I do know they have some off days, but in reality, you only have almost 365 days of the year that you're on the road. And for them being nervous, like, oh, am I not going to be my significant other? Remember what you signed up for. You know, a lot of these people who have significant others but are at home that don't get to see their wife or they don't get to see their husband all the time, just like you guys. And I feel like they kind of took that for granted for a second or for a moment and realized, oh my God, like it probably didn't like really hit them like, oh crap, like I'm really with my significant other. But and looking at somebody like AJ Styles, he's on the road all the time and his wife is at home with their kids and everything. And I think that they're so used to being on the road with their significant other, they probably forget about that.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I do think that they have, of course they have their days off. Like in any working company, usually they have their days off. And with having 4 days off, I do see that. Because you're on the road constantly.
The 4 days of the year that I believe they're referring to are the 4 pay-per-views throughout the year where both rosters are together. So that's your WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series and Royal Rumble.
That's it. Thank you.
I do what I can.
Our Wikipedia.
I'm no Bill, but I'll do what I can.
Thank you for that. Okay, so that answers that question for me. Because I feel like multiple people said that at different times, and I was like, what are these 4 times a year everyone's talking about? So I want to say, I kind of do see it from their side. The people who are upset about their significant other being on the different teams. I'm going to say because, yes, they have the best of both worlds. But now that they have the best of both worlds, it's like, I'm not letting that go. I'm not going to let my partnership be split up. And it's kind of like, we did all the struggles at first. We now, you know, we're usually together. I'm not going to have us be apart. And I think that people who do get to spend a lot of time together, they're like, you know what, it would be worse if we were apart. So I'd rather have my relationship be a priority over work. I do understand people saying that too.
And like in a way, I feel bad for Mark Carrano because he's in a very like tough situation where it's like, yes, he is part of talent relations, but also has to listen from people who are above from him and then listening from the talent as well, and he can't please both sides, so he's doing the best that he can. And I just feel bad because everyone's like, hey, can you do this? Oh, what's going on? What's going on? And he's like, I can't say anything. I can't say anything because if he says something could happen, slip. So he's in a tough position too. So,
and Joseph Boza is mentioning in the chat room, Renee was so pissed that she was going to quit. Dean only requests to have her interview him on TV if you noticed. And Claire's like, we need to get Megan to watch WWE. I know, Claire, I know, I'm the only one. So I remember Renee saying, I'm gonna start taking meetings. And I was like, you know what? I might be that girl to like say that about my relationship. Like it's like, you know what, I got the dream, I got this dream job, but now I've got this dream guy and I want to prioritize my personal life over work. So you know what, I could still do this kind of work somewhere else. Maybe that's what I would need to do to be around him more.
Right. And like what they said in the chat, I don't think that it's talent that are big stars that have the ability to say something like that to production. I think the only person that can say what to production is John Cena because he's freaking John Cena. And that's one thing that I think people don't understand is like whoever you're with, any superstar, they're not just as much as a big name that they could be. Production may not look at them and say, okay, you're a big star, we'll tell you what you want, we'll give you whatever you want. It's not like that. And I just think that with Renee, I mean, I kind of get what I do get what she's saying because at first that's what she feels at first, how she's very upset. Oh my God, like what's going on, blah, blah, blah. So I look at it both sides.
Okay. I feel like you've changed your tune.
Yeah.
I've changed your tune for you. Natty and Nikki meet up. So they're at NXT's training facility in Orlando where Christy St. Cloud is now stationed. Very cool. So Nikki wants to train with Natty, preparing for her comeback. Natty's words were, which I wrote down specifically, I was like, ooh, I'm with Natty on this.
Yeah.
She's trying to expedite her comeback. She is expediting her comeback. So even if Natty's wrong here, it does seem like Nikki's starting to go really hard and take chances she maybe shouldn't be taking, coming back from something so personal.
Right. And I agree with what Natty was saying. I really do, because it's an injury no matter what it is, no matter what you got. And I think with Nikki, she wants that. She's hungry. She wants it. And I get it, because she, in a way, that's how John Cena is. Once he's out with this injury, he's back in 2 months. And I think that's what she wants and everything. But in reality, you should know to slow down a little bit. But also, Nikki, out of all people, knows her body.
Yeah.
And knows how it works. And if she knows that she's ready, then who is it to say to somebody else, say, oh, well, you need to slow it down. But it's also doctor's perspective, too. If the professional says you're fine and then you think you're okay, at the end of the day, you know your body.
Yeah. So. I was kind of with Natty on this, and I was wondering why they didn't mention TJ, because this was part of the show. TJ's horrific neck injury, and that's obviously what she kept alluding to and crying about, and I was wondering why they weren't able to mention his name and maybe flash back to that injury.
I think there's a reason why, from what I believe. I believe the reason why is because maybe TJ doesn't want to be a part of the Total Divas. That's why he's not. That you don't see him anymore, because he can't be what he always wanted to be, a wrestler. So I think with Natty, she has experienced TJ's neck injury and everything, and that got just so emotional with her, because she is so close to Nikki Bella.
Yeah.
So I 100% understand.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be responsible for re-breaking anyone's neck either. So I would totally be Natty in this situation. I'd be like, I think this is a really bad idea, girl.
Yeah.
Paige also is not in the best of ways physically. She's waiting on her MRI results. She takes a phone call backstage, and the doctor says, hey, no big deal, no surgery needed, just some physical therapy. Paige is totally relieved. She gets to be part of the draft. So she's feeling like a little up.
Yeah.
Like a little better. Trinity and John talk about only seeing each other 4 times a year, like we were saying.
I love this couple. They're hilarious together.
He is so funny.
He's so funny. Like, I remember when Naomi won the title, and like she's trying to put it on and everything. He goes, "You don't even know how to put the title belt on correctly," because he used to be a title holder.
Yeah.
And this was her first time, and he was like making fun of her, and I just thought it was so hilarious. I'm like, this couple is like great. Like they're my favorite couple on the show.
The cutest.
Yeah.
And so Eva has lunch with her family. They kind of talk about the draft and what's coming up, and she's like relaying her sentiments of, God, if I don't get picked for this draft, like I don't know what I'm gonna do. I've worked so hard. Jonathan gives like a really sentimental speech in front of the whole family, saying how hard she's worked and stuff that she's gone through. Right. Her mom gives her like a never quit speech. That's, you know, what her dad taught them as children. And everyone kept saying like all the stuff you've gone through, the beating you've taken. I'm not understanding the beating she's taken, other than she had to work back up from developmental, which a lot of them do. Do you understand what they really were harping on there?
I think what they're understanding is like the beating when all the women were attacking her, and saying, "Oh, you can't wrestle. You're going to a private session with Brian Kendrick. Why you're not in NXT doing how we worked hard," and also is when, like, even listening to Mark Carrano telling her, like, we don't have anything for you right yet. And then when Road Dogg spoke to her backstage and saying, okay, well, what is your idea? And then they, you know, looking at it and all this stuff. So I think with that, I mean, I feel like there's more to what they're talking about. So I hope we get a little bit more throughout the season on what she's talking about with whole, you know, taking a beating in WWE. So I think it's because she was obviously on the main roster for a while, and then she went back to NXT, right? And then did that, and then now she's going back to Raw. I mean, going back to the main roster, and then I don't know, like it's.
I thought they might be referencing when she was fighting with the women and that, argument with Nikki was on camera and everything when Eva was trying to smooth things over. Like, everything was not good in the locker room with Eva. But that feels like so long ago that it's like, well, if we're going to dredge that up, I think we should need some flashback support. You know, like seeing that footage again.
And to refresh everyone's memory on what they were talking about, too.
Right.
But it also could have been something else that they don't even want to talk about on camera. So there could be some other things that we still don't know.
True. So. I don't know what it is. So Nikki decides that if Natty doesn't want to throw her around the ring, she'll get an MMA fighter to do it.
Why not?
What a great idea. So this fighter, Shayna, who looks so tough and scary. I was like, that girl would beat the crap out of me and leave me for dead. They were doing neck breakers.
Yeah.
My God. Okay, so as a person who does not know wrestling moves, is a neck breaker something that involves like flipping someone over by their neck?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. Oh my goodness. It looked a little tough. I was like, damn, Nikki has balls.
Yeah. And I think she's doing that I think when Nikki did that because she's testing her neck, which is, I want to say, I don't want smart, but not a good idea at the same time because you are risking your neck injury. But hey, if she wants to go for it, go for it. It's wrestling.
I'm still terrified for Nikki, but you go, Nikki. Natty's still upset, takes her aside, refusing to train with her and throw her around by the neck.
Yeah. I mean, I would too if like you and I, you came back from an injury and I wanted to wrestle you and I'm like, are you sure? Like, I'm afraid. Because Natty doesn't know how fragile she could be or not. Right. So, and if she's if she's on medication, what kind of medication you know how medication is, the different effects that could be on you. So I understand. I don't know. I understand what Natty's coming from.
I'm totally with Natty on this. Yeah. I'm not breaking anyone's neck by accident.
As just an example. Yeah. It's not real life.
Lana arrives to the center with Rusev, and she announces she's trying to manifest the two of them being on the same brand together. She said she's not even going to let negative thoughts enter her mind, whereas all the other girls are up in arms ready to quit. She said, I'm not even letting negative thoughts enter my mind. I'm just going to manifest us being together.
I love Lana. She's so fun.
She's the cutest.
She's great.
Renee found out she's going to SmackDown before the draft broadcast begins. So she knows that. So she's on pins and needles waiting to find out where Dean is going. And teases Eva, saying, I got all the info over here, come over. And then she's like, just kidding, we don't know anything.
We don't know anything. Sorry.
Paige is worried about Alberto Del Rio and her being split up on different brands. She's already heard backstage rumblings. So I'm wondering how that little rumor started going around. It's like, who had the paperwork that said something to somebody who said something to somebody else that now it's backstage completely that they're going to be split up.
It's the WWE. If you really think about it, it's like, it's kind of like a community.
Yeah.
Like a city community.
Like a fraternity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want to, Okay, sure. We'll go there. And everybody knows about everyone's business.
Yeah.
No matter what, how small the thing is, and somebody knows. Somebody said something to somebody, and I just, in my personal opinion, I think WWE was like, they should not be together. Let's split them up.
I think, they probably thought it was unhealthy for the two of them to have a budding relationship, and they probably were split up on purpose. In my mind, they were split up on purpose.
Because she's so young.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with, I don't care how old you are, if you love the person, go for it. That's your business. But I think as a business-wise, if somebody knows in the chat, let us know. I think he was still married at the time, or he was going through a divorce.
That's what Christy said last season, that he still was technically married,
yes.
And they were dating, and it just wasn't a good look.
Yeah.
Okay, well, touchy there. So we get to the draft. It's draft day. Everyone's freaking out. We're all watching backstage, the TV, finding out what team we're going to.
Yes.
What brand we're going to. First pick is SmackDown. They're taking Dean.
Woohoo!
So immediately Renee's worries are off the table. We're
Mine
all
too.
good there. Do you
but
have a favorite brand?
SmackDown.
You do? Okay, perfect. Do you like the wrestlers on SmackDown better, or?
Here's the thing. I like Raw, I do. And there's a one wrestler called Finn Balor that's on Raw, and that's why I love Raw, because Finn Balor's on Raw. But I like SmackDown because they brought a lot of great superstars to that brand.
Okay.
And just storyline based. And I'm a big Dean Ambrose fan.
Yeah.
Since forever. So I think it's a great brand. I really did.
So you think it's stronger of the two, and you prefer the wrestlers on it?
Yeah, well, I prefer any wrestler on any brand. Don't matter, but I think just the way they handle the matches and storyline base, it's different. And SmackDown is like more like something's new every week. You know, we kind of see the same people every week, but we also get a different vibe from that. With Raw, you kind of see like the same matches and stuff like that, but it's still entertaining to watch.
Okay.
And I still tune in.
There you go. Raw is up next and chooses Sasha Banks. So exciting. It was only the second pick of the night, and they chose a woman.
Yes.
Are you surprised that Sasha is not a part of Total Divas yet? Because I am.
Here's the thing. Sasha's a very private person.
Okay.
She did Lillian Garcia's show.
Okay.
Here, and you guys could watch that. And she mentioned how, like, Lillian kind of mentioned, oh, what about your husband? And she's like, oh, like, you kind of hear the tone in her voice, like, oh, no. She's like, oh, you don't want to talk about it? Well, I guess. And, like, and I think that's, I believe just Sasha's just a very private person, and that's fine. And, like, not everyone's going to want to be on Total Divas. And I believe, look at back when they kind of, like, I remember they asked AJ Lee to be on Total Divas, and she turned it down because she doesn't want her private business out there. And that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, I totally agree. Like, I don't want all my personal business out to the world. So
she could have totally had an offer and turned it down.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's totally okay. I mean, I like who is on Total Divas. I do.
I agree.
It's all fresh, and you never know. We might see some of the women who are new to the brand on SmackDown and Raw right now on Total Divas, like Nia Jax. Yeah.
Jay Ruiz in the chat is saying she doesn't want to be a part of Total Divas. Thank you, Jay Ruiz. He's in the know. And everybody's agreeing that SmackDown is it.
Yes.
George says SmackDown has way better stories. AJ00314 says SmackDown is the A show. Joseph Bosa says I like SmackDown too. Ashley Sanders, SmackDown is so much better. All right, guys. I think SmackDown wins.
Yes.
Oh, poor Lana. Okay. Well, SmackDown chooses another Natty. So Natty's on Team Blue. Raw chooses Rusev and Lana. So Lana is our big loss for the evening as far as we're splitting up the divas.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to me because now we're going to worry about, okay, well, who's she going to be filming with, and when is she going to, be able to run into the other divas to film scenes with them? Right. So this will be interesting to see how they work that out.
So am I. I'm pretty interested.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm kind of glad, like, Lana stayed on Raw because, like, that's where she, like, came up, and I like Lana, and I just love how she's with Rusev and all that storyline. So I hope we see more.
Yeah, for sure. I love her. She's adorable. And Miz and Maurice are next, and they're with SmackDown. So they are my favorite too. Like, I know Miz from Real World. I can't believe he made his dreams come true, and he's really one of, like, the top dogs now. And I just love Maurice's attitude and her character. I think she's hysterical.
You know what's funny? Because, like, they play bad guys on TV, like villains, but, like, they're probably, like, the nicest people you ever meet. So,
even
like,
if they're not, I don't mind it. I love who they play.
No, really. Like, so last summer, some friends of mine went to, like, a GameStop convention here in LA, well, in Anaheim, and Miz and Maurice were promoting the wrestling game, and they said, like, dude, they're, like, the nicest people, like, you've ever
great.
met.
Well, it's great to hear that they're
like,
great with
good.
fans, because WWE is so all about the fan experience, and that's awesome. SmackDown also chooses Dolph Ziggler, one of my faves.
Yeah.
He's so corny, but I think he's so cute. I love him so much.
Oh my gosh. So if you ever have the chance to ever watched WWE, type in like Dolph Ziggler like Spirit Squad, and you'll love it.
Oh. He has like a gang of like
he was like in a
cronies?
He was kind of like in a gimmick back in 2005 where he was like a cheerleader. There was like 5 men and they were all dressed up like as like men cheerleaders.
Oh my.
So it was great. It was a good time.
SmackDown also chooses John Cena. So it seems like the bigger names I know are all going to SmackDown. So I can see why everyone is saying SmackDown's the better brand for sure. Eva is concerned about not getting picked. But she doesn't have to wait long because SmackDown is next and chooses Alberto Del Rio. So now Paige knows where her boyfriend's going.
Yep. And it doesn't suit well.
No.
She got very upset and she just wanted to hide. And be in that backseat car.
Had that sad face.
Yeah.
Well, after she got chosen for a different team. SmackDown also chooses Naomi/Trinity's man. So he's on SmackDown and she doesn't have to wait long to find out that she is also on SmackDown. So another couple staying together. So it seems like if the company really approves of your relationship or you're married, you got to stay together.
Yeah, that's what I kind of took as it when I was actually watching it live, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so all the Total Diva women are all, and their men are all on SmackDown, and very few of them are on Raw. So in my mind, I thought it was just in favor where, okay, we're putting all the couples on one show.
Yeah. I think it was a good idea for them because I think if the company splits up happy personal lives, then things might get messy. Like, I think it was good on their part to keep those couples together. Paige is drafted to Raw. So she realizes she is not going to be with Alberto. Her worst fear is realized. And she is not a happy girl. Raw also gets Nia Jax. So Eva's upset that someone from NXT got drafted before her. She's like, oh my God, does that mean I am not drafted? But then she is drafted to SmackDown.
Yes.
Which she thought she was drafted to Raw, and it was a whole silly mix-up.
Oh my gosh.
And the entire room laughed at her out of the place.
What a moment that was.
Well, she had this whole line about, of course, all red everything has to go to Team Red, and everyone's like, girl, you're on Team Blue.
I think because she was so worried about being drafted, she was just so happy that she was. And you know what? Like, if I was in that position where we're worried about being drafted, I'd be like, heck yeah, I'm drafted. But then I'm like, wait, which brand am I on? Like, she probably, because they were all on Raw forever. And I guess the draft is so fresh and new. So she was like, I'm on Raw.
Well, it might have been one of those things where you kind of have an out-of-body experience where you kind of, things are flashing by, you're not really sure what's going on and what was said, but kind of like if you like won an Oscar, how they're like, I don't remember anything I said or did, but I know someone pushed me up on the stage and I had a speech. It's like one of those moments that she knew she got picked, she just didn't know who picked her. And that was the draft. So all the waiting is over. It's done. Now the fallout will happen. Nikki called. We're back to the training center with Nikki. She calls Brie upset about this whole ordeal, and she's now doubting herself. And Brie then comes to visit Natty, and they have a great talk.
That was nice of Brie.
Yes.
I like Brie.
And I loved what she said. She said, I'm not there for her anymore as her rock, so I would love if you could be that for her. And if you can't look at her with confidence and she can't look back at you knowing that you're confident for her, that is when an injury will happen. That is when she will get hurt. And I was like, you know what? That's the perfect way to put it.
Right. And I think it's hard to like understand where both Nikki and Brie are coming from because they're twins. And personally, I have twin cousins. Aww. So like, I see like Nikki and Brie and my twin cousins kind of alike, where like they can't be anywhere without one of other, or one of them is like gets anxiety without the other one. So now that Nikki doesn't have Brie anymore, I feel like Nikki kind of has this feel like, oh my gosh, like where's my partner? Like I can't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's new and fresh, and I like what Brie says. She's like, hey, this is real now. You are now her rock, and I'm going to give you the best advice as I can and take it from here, and hopefully it works out.
Yes. Hopefully it does. No more injuries, Nikki. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Lana is on the road for Raw. She's officially split up from her girls. It was so cute because she tries to go have like gossipy girl talk with someone else, and they're like,
"Oh, Nia Jax."
Oh, it's her. Okay. And she's like, "Girl, I ain't touching any of that with a 10-foot pole. I'm not getting involved in your gossip." You know, she complains about Paige's attitude and Paige's blow-ups and stuff, and Lana's finding it hard to make friends, maybe.
Trying to adjust, and I feel like she's kind of like the new kid in school where she doesn't really hang out with anybody, doesn't know anybody, and it's kind of hard for her because she only has Rusev, but she needs girl time. Yeah. And I hope that she finds that.
Well, I am so proud of her for saying, you know what, this is my time. It's a brand expansion. Yeah. I can move my way up to being a main roster wrestler. Yeah. Now that we have more room to do that. Right. And I don't want to just be Rusev's manager. I want to get back to wrestling in that ring.
Yeah, and she has been at like house shows and I believe in NXT live events, not taped, but you know, and from the fans, they say that she's really good in the ring. So I would love to see her in the ring.
Her flexibility is amazing.
Oh yeah.
And I loved when I got to see her earlier in the season 6, you know, a few months back, doing her thing in the ring. Wasn't it WrestleMania's last year's WrestleMania? She got to debut in.
Yeah, I loved that outfit.
Oh gosh, me too.
She
Her gear is great. I love her gear. Nikki goes to SmackDown. She's doing a photo shoot. She's hanging out, seeing some old friends, and she talks to Natty. So it's kind of like she wants to smooth things over and say like, "Hey, I know where you're coming from," and Natty really, really lets the tears flow. And that's exactly when I was like, you know what? This is all about TJ's injury, but they're not mentioning it.
Yeah. And that's how it is. I mean, maybe, like I said before, maybe they can't.
Right.
Even
like
mention
maybe
it.
they don't have the right to mention his name anymore because he's not wrestling.
Even in WWE, I don't even remember them even talking about it as much as his departure of like his neck and everything. And it's just so sad. And in a weird way, it's like I feel like she's now like in this position. She's like apologizing to Nikki, like, "I'm so sorry that it seemed like I'm so hard for you." And I feel like we've seen that type of segment on past episodes. Yeah. So in a way, I'm just like, oh, okay, it's just another segment where she was just upset, and then now they're making up.
Got it. I hope. I don't know. I don't know what I hope.
You don't know what you hope?
I don't want Nikki to get hurt. Okay. Paige takes Fox aside at wrestling backstage. Actually, they go out in the parking lot. I would call it backstage technically. She tells her that they broke up. So I didn't know this.
Neither did I. Oh my gosh! Like I was really, really shocked. Yeah. That they even broke up because she has his name tattooed on her.
I know.
Like, girl. Like, really?
Yeah. I like Paige. I just think she's so young and boy crazy. So the fact that she cycled through a bunch of relationships over this show and, you know, had an engagement that she never even wanted to be engaged to the guy and then broke it off, like, embarrassingly on TV. And then, you know, saying, like, oh, this is the first time I've ever been in love. I think she gets that euphoric, really early butterflies in the tummy
and
crush. And this was probably like her biggest crush she's ever had. And she's so convinced she's in love, but I don't think it was healthy.
No. I 100% agree. Ironically, me and Paige are actually the same age. Okay. But like her and I were born like 2 days apart.
Oh, cool.
On the same month too.
Britney Spears and I are only 4 days apart.
Oh, yeah?
I tend to think we're like solar sisters. Astrology. We're bound by astrology.
Girl, you got Britney Spears. So like with that, I kind of I'm just like I said, this is her putting her whole business out there. Yeah. Like things had happened to her recently, and this probably made her go back in that phrase how she does date older men as we know it. And I think that she probably in that I'm not going to talk about right now in their relationship right now, but in this scene I think she thinks that like how do I put it, like she is finally found the one, and she doesn't want to let him go. And like if something happens, you know, it's the end of the world type of thing.
Well, I think being broken up with abruptly because you're not on the same brand, it came as a shock.
But I think there's more to that though.
Okay. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, she would have to be a stepmother. He's much older. Like, a lot of factors probably went into him being like, we probably shouldn't be together.
Yeah. So, I mean, hey, they did it. Well, I mean,
I really do like Paige. I do. As far as like what I see on Divas.
Yeah.
I just think she's young and just kind of making a mistake. But that's great drama.
But that's the thing. How many mistakes are you going to take until you realize, oh my God, I need to stop?
I mean, I think it's something that people can't tell you. It's something you have to experience, you know?
Yeah. But if you think about it, it's like since she debuted on Total Divas, she's had a boyfriend. But
it's true.
Different.
A lot of them.
Different. Yeah. So now, like I said, when's the point when you're going to just stop? Don't get me wrong. I love Paige. I really do. And she's born in this business, and I think that's why she loves Alberto too, because he was born in this business as well, and they have that connection.
In common,
and even though they're a different age, but they still have that wrestling connection. They both know how it is in the business, growing up with it, dealing with it. So I think that's one thing where there's probably more things that they fall in love with each other for once. But you know what, we'll see within the next few episodes on how this all works with her. Especially with her having that MRI and all that stuff. That could have been something that they totally didn't agree on or something.
Well, this is where we leave off with Paige's broken heart.
Yes.
But let's get to some news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay. Well, obviously, it was a big, big weekend in WWE land. WrestleMania. So Nikki and John got to fight together alongside each other against Maurice and Miz. Nikki and John win.
Yes.
And then, dream of all dreams come true for sweet Nikki Bella. She gets proposed to by John Cena. So I've been watching a lot of press they've done, and John said on the Today Show that only one other person knew he was going to do it, and that he did not fly his mom out there. It was a surprise to him that his mom was there.
I believe that part.
I wonder if he told his mom, though, and that's why she came.
Ooh.
But he was saying only one other person knew. I think
that he was gonna propose, but didn't know when.
I think he meant as far as someone on WWE's staff who is a backstage coordinator person or something.
Probably Vince McMahon.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
Or or the head guy.
Yes. The legend, the someone that we bow down to.
But that's awesome that only one person knew, and they gave him that time to do that.
Do you follow the Bella twins on their YouTube channel?
I see some of the videos sometimes, and like some of them I don't see.
Yeah, he kind of mentions why he got the ring and why it's special and everything.
Yes, I was going to mention that. I watched that one today. So it's a 4.5 carat ring from Tiffany's, and the 4.5 symbolizes the 4.5 years together that they've been together, and that's their journey.
Yeah.
There's 2 stones on each side of the big diamond, and it's kind of like a symbolizing like coming together, and then that big stone in the middle is like the 4.5 years, and now they're together.
Yeah.
And he said, everything we give to each other and do for each other has a lot of meaning. So that is the meaning behind this ring, and I was like, oh, so sweet and romantical.
It's funny because like when that happened, I texted Christy right away. I'm like,
aww.
Girl, you know what happened? She goes, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm so happy. I'm like, I know you are. This is like so cool. Because like I didn't expect that was going to happen. And I'm very happy for them. But come on. Do you think that he proposed to her before and this is just for the storyline for Total Divas?
I thought her reaction in the ring kind of seemed like maybe she knew before. And the backstage stuff to me seemed like she didn't know. She just seemed like so like overwhelmed and happy and lovey-dovey. So I don't know. It's up for debate.
I think they got, proposed to. I mean, I think that he proposed to her like a few probably months ago and then said, hey, we're actually gonna do this. But he probably didn't know, like, or they probably were like, he's probably like, okay, we're engaged, but don't say anything. but didn't tell her that I'm going to do it at WrestleMania.
Oh, some people in the chat room are saying they knew they were already engaged.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Nikki said on E! News today that even though she is engaged, it's kind of like John's still not on the kids bandwagon. She said she accepted the proposal knowing that he probably does not want to have kids, and that's okay with her. And if he does want to have kids, that's even more okay with her. And poor Nikki has a herniated disc and will be taking more time off. So it's a herniated disc above where her neck was already repaired, and she will be taking some more time off from wrestling. Boo!
I think it's because, well, I think this is my theory, is that they're taking time off. Something's going to happen, and she's going to end up being pregnant.
Oh, okay.
That's why they're both taking time off. Or she could be pregnant now.
Well, they're already filming their next season of Bellas right now, Total Bellas. And I feel like they'll probably wrap that season up with her engagement. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Maybe she's taking time off now to wrap up filming that season. We'll see. We will see.
Yeah.
And she said the WWE knew she wasn't coming back full time once she came back.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, guys, that's our show this week. We were so happy to have you all join us and in the chat. Another shout out to Christy St. Cloud. We're so happy for you. We miss you. Call us anytime.
Yes.
And where can we keep the conversation going with you online?
Well, you guys can follow me at Anissa Barr. That is 3 R's at the end. Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. I interact with everyone. You guys know that. And I'm very excited that I'm now joining the panel. And this is new. This is fresh. Hope I did well. So it's fun. It's fun. You're fun.
We're happy to have you. Breaking your reality show, popping the bubble. I don't even know. Popping the cork on your reality show experience. Hey guys, it's Megan Stecher. You can find me on all my social media platforms at Megan Stecher. That is spelled MEGANSTECHER. Thank you for joining us. Chat with me on Twitter, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.